everybody, welcome back. This is Cougar with World of Me, and I have another item here on my Amazon review series. And this new one is this flanger FR-10P. It is a finger exerciser, and I kind of found this interesting because it's something that can be used to strengthen the hands and the fingers and everything like that, especially good for things like musical instruments like playing the piano, or especially things like guitar, which any of you who have tried or have played guitar know that when you're first learning, at the very least, it's very difficult. It puts a lot of strain on your fingers, especially if you have a more specialized guitar, like say a 12-string where you're pushing 2 strings down at a time. And of course, there's a lot of tension on those strings. Pushing down on 2 strings like that can be very stressful on your hands when you're trying to hit those notes and chords. Anyhow, let's go ahead and pop this open. One interesting thing about this that I saw, and as you can see, it comes in a simple retail package, has some basic instructions on the back here that we'll kind of check out as we're going through. But one interesting thing, if you can see it from your end, is there's a split right here. Now, of course, you've got these 4 things right here, and you can squeeze down. Each one is set for a different finger so that you can uniformly exercise your fingers. It has this nice little rubber foot here. Your thumb kind of locks into the bottom right here in this little knob, so it hits there, and then you can have these other ones and be able to press down. Matter of fact, if you're a trumpet player almost or something, I think trumpets are only 3 fingers, but you don't want to forget that pinky finger, because there is actually a lot more strength in that than you think. But something else that's kind of cool is that if you have a larger hand, as I was saying about that split, you can separate it out. So now, which this actually for me is a bit more comfortable. I've got a little wider hold right here, and I can sit there and press down with my pinky like that and work it out. You could, of course, if you do play something like a trumpet, you could use this for your finger positioning, but as you're working on your finger positioning, you can also, of course, work out your fingers. It has this little slider here. It's a little squeeze piece right here where you squeeze it in and it slides out and back in. So, in there you've got it all the way extended. Of course, for my hands, that's a bit large. But, for somebody with maybe larger hands, that would be a nice little idea. It feels pretty nice here. As it shows it on here, they have it set up for guitarists. And as guitarist, they suggest that you start it off and you work this way. And you work at it they have it set up for each week. You start off with everything close by and everything. So if you're a guitarist and you're sitting there working on your fingering on the fretboard there, you have all your fingers close together, and that's when you're first learning to get your chords and everything, and they're fairly easy and simple chords and whatnot. But then after your first week, you'll go into your second week, and you'll separate that out a little bit, and now you're a little further along and have your fingers spread out just a little bit more, maybe get a few additional chords, ones that are spread out along the fretboard a little further. And then as you go along, you have further and further until you've got these very far out there. And of course, when you're like this is a big strain coming clear out here to get that. I'm putting a lot of pressure. I'm using a lot of muscle trying to get that one pressed down on the pinky because it's extended out so far. But it, of course, makes it much easier when you're using very open types of chords on the guitar. Now, when they say for a pianist, they actually have you turn it around. And here you go. Something else, since you're going to turn it around, you might as well turn around the bottom piece here. you're still going to do that, but now it's your index finger that's going to be spaced out. And you've got that a little bit further so you can spread your fingers out a little more on the keyboard or on the keys. So as they say, tickle those ivories, and you've got a lot further finger width or coverage than if you were to just keep them close by, maybe say similar to if you were typing. Now, of course, doing this and having it maybe together in general could also help if you get fatigued while trying to type and things like that. Additional strength in general can generally alleviate fatigue because your muscles are no longer quite so weak and have a bit more endurance from the additional strength that they've gained. This is pretty nice. It's not super difficult. I mean, sitting here pressing just one like that at a time, those aren't too bad. Of course, with my weaker fingers, there's a lot more resistance, or it feels like there is. There's not. Of course, it's the same across all of them. So, there is that. I mean, my first index and middle finger, of course, on most people is going to be very strong because that's where you generally grab things, is with these two fingers when it's very small instead of a full hand, if you can't do it with a full hand. But this way you're working all the fingers and you're getting a uniform grip so that if you've got more tension kind of on an angle pulling, you've got that additional strength. All right, and as I look at it, it talks about the tensioning and everything, and as I can understand here, you have the tensioners here, and the tensioner is actually just rotating around like this. You turn these around, and when you do, basically you unscrew them. If you're looking down from the top and you're turning them in a counterclockwise fashion, you're increasing the tension on each one of these. So if you have them screwed all the way down to where it basically stops, it feels like just like when a bolt is run all the way down onto a nut, it stops up against the end there and doesn't want to spin freely anymore. That's going to be your lowest tension. And then as you unscrew it, per se, and turn it in that counterclockwise fashion, it's going to, I'm sure there's something that adjusts inside here. Maybe it raises it up so it increases that spring tension. Something like that, maybe, or compresses it down. I'm not sure exactly how they have it set up inside here, but it will give it greater compression. Right now I have these set so that they're all at what should be the lowest tension, basically. This one was just up a little bit. There we go. But so they're all at about 2.5 pounds of force right now, or at least that's what I think it should be. I noticed it seemed to get stronger the other way. Of course, you can play with it and adjust it as you see fit. If you want more strength in certain areas, you can, of course, change it around. It doesn't seem like a very bad product at all. I like it. The only thing I worry about is maybe when it's extended all the way out, I feel this flexing here, so maybe a little bit of a worry in terms of a stability issue, seeing as how that is going to be extended out past the end of the hand, and it won't be supported like the rest of them. Whereas, continued use like that with the end extended out, especially when you have it at the higher rating, may wear it out and cause it to fatigue and possibly even break, because this is just what seems to be just plastic here. And so, plastic is very durable, of course, but it's definitely still very breakable as well. I would definitely say that this is a nice little device. If you are going to be doing things like playing piano, playing guitar, or something that uses certain amounts of dexterity and strength in the fingers, this would probably be a good little thing to get for you. Something, at least for the very most part, a starter unit. When you want to go ahead and work out and get started and get your hand and finger strength up a little bit, you can use this device, and I think it would work very well for that. I have some guitars that I play around on. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at them yet, but this can, of course, help me out with some of that so that I can get those chords kind of matched up and get my fingers to work better on the fretboard without fatiguing and aching and everything from pushing down on all the strings. Anyhow, I am Cougar. This has been another episode from the Amazon review series here on World of Me. If you like this review, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down there. And if you have it set up, you can be notified of any new videos that we have coming out. Also, if you take a look down in the description below, you can see the link to Amazon for this device and check it out there if you think you want to get it. And you can even look up some other reviews and stuff like that while you're there to see what some other people have to say about this. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave those down below as well. And, I think that's going to wrap it up here for today. So I will see you guys later and have a good day. Bye.